Have you ever pondered why women's reservation is such a hot-button issue in India? The concept of women's reservation, intended to promote gender equality and women's empowerment, is currently a significant and highly debated topic in India. With its roots deeply embedded in our society, it is seen as a potential tool to bridge the gender gap. Contrarily, it also raises questions about the concept of true equality. This issue, as simple as it might seem, has stirred up a whirlpool of opinions and perspectives. On one hand, there are those who ardently support women's reservation. They see it as a crucial tool to level the playing field, to shatter the glass ceilings that have for centuries limited women's participation in the societal mainstream. By reserving seats in government and other leadership positions, women can gain access to opportunities they have been traditionally denied. Consider the success stories. Women leaders who have emerged due to such policies have not only proved their mettle, but have also brought unique perspectives to the table. They have made significant contributions to their communities and the nation. These advocates see women's reservation not as a favor, but as a way to right historical wrongs. They see it as a means to ensure that half the population has a fair shot at influencing decisions that affect their lives. Proponents argue that women's reservation is a much-needed step towards gender parity in a traditionally patriarchal society. On the flip side, there's a camp that opposes women's reservation. A primary concern is that it could potentially overlook merit. Critics argue that the reservation system may inadvertently promote individuals based on their gender rather than their skills, qualifications, or experience. Moreover, there's the fear of tokenism. Detractors point out that reserving seats for women might result in female politicians being used merely as figureheads rather than being valued for their contributions. This could, in fact, reinforce harmful stereotypes about women's roles in leadership rather than dismantling them. Finally, not all women in power necessarily work towards women's rights. The argument here is that women's reservation might not automatically lead to empowerment. It's conceivable that some female politicians might not prioritize gender equality, and this could undermine the very purpose of the reservation. Critics worry that women's reservation might become a tool for political manipulation rather than a means to genuine empowerment. This issue, as we've seen, isn't black and white. The call for women's reservation carries the promise of gender equality and empowerment, while critics warn against tokenism and the potential misuse of power. Both sides bear weighty concerns, underlining the complexity of this debate. The ultimate aim, however, remains steadfast: achieving women's empowerment and gender equality. It's clear that the debate on women's reservation is a nuanced one, requiring careful thought and constructive dialogue.